Hello guys, it's Ben Spurs 21 here back with another video for you, and obviously with football back and more importantly Tottenham back in action, as we said yesterday with our first game of the season away at Brentford. I wanted today to look at actually a little bit more, further ahead to what could be this season, and more importantly look at our new signings and maybe talk about who's maybe should still come in. The reason I didn't want to do it before the start of the season is because, I just wanted to wait, for that first game to sort of judge how it would look and, just to get a feel for it, But I think the early signs are very, very encouraging. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. First of all, the manager, Ange Postecoglou, very, very honest, straightforward talking person who has, achieved success wherever he's gone. He's took a different, route of management, managing obviously in, his home of Australia. Took the Australian national team to the World Cup in 2014. And has won multiple trophies down there. He's won trophies in Japan. Of course, he became more to prominence in the last couple of years once he joined Celtic. With back-to-back league championships and, the domestic treble last season. He was known for several things there. Attacking football, a no-nonsense attitude, pulling off quite shrewd signings, it must be said. He's got an experience of management a lot of, managers in the top leagues don't have, in terms of in those kind of markets, like in Asia, Australia, that kind of area. So he plucked out a lot of good players when he was at Celtic. So, and crucially there, he was given the opportunity to rebuild that team. So that's the reason he was able to do the success he did. That, and combined with his attacking philosophy. So when he was first appointed, the feeling was, okay, we've got to give him time and see, and let him see how we can change us. The pre-season signs all looked, there were good glimpses, but it was more waiting for that first, proper test, the first real game of the season to, before you can actually give a good indication of, how's he going to implement it and how quickly is he going to be able to do it. But I think the early signs, as I said, are promising. We were on the front foot most of the game. We were trying to attack all the time. As I said, our defenders were playing like midfielders. They weren't scared of going forward. Nobody was scared of the football, compared to the last few years where it looks like we've just been afraid to touch the thing, just sitting off consistently, just hoping to something magic happens. We were actually trying to create opportunities, and that's clearly what the manager's focus is. So even if there are tricky results on the way, it's at least going to be an exciting journey, and not one where it becomes a snooze fest for 90 minutes every week. So that's already a very good sign. Now let's have a little bit of a look at the new signings that have come in so far. As I mentioned, 4 of them started yesterday. Obviously the big one being James Maddison, the new creative linchpin, I guess, of the team now. And it was in full effect immediately from yesterday. The free kick that led to the opening goal from Romero, he obviously laid it off for Emerson for the second as well. He created good chances for Son and Richarlison as well. Placing balls everywhere, threading them through. It's something that we've cried for since Eriksen left. So, to finally have that sort of creative output is going to give us chances every game. So, he's going to be so key. I mean, he's a proven player. He always, came up with the goods at Leicester. He's a proven Premier League quality, number 10, and yeah, no worries about Maddison whatsoever. Now on to the new centre-half, Mickey van der Veen, who literally was signed this week. I mean, for someone who got thrown at the deep end, he certainly rose to the challenge. Yesterday, he looked excellent. He did have that, one unfortunate moment for Brentford's second goal when he tried to clear the ball when he really didn't need to because the keeper had it, but he didn't let the mistake affect him. He held his ground very well. He's a big, lad, but he's quick as well. He's got some agility about him, so he looks confident on the ball. So, and he looks a very, very good centre half option. And everybody knows how poor, all defenders, or just defensively as a team, we've been, especially last season. So, it was something we would pray would be fixed over the summer, at least in terms of adding new and better players for that position. And it looks like we've gone and done it. Well, we've certainly got an improvement on what we had. So overall, I think a good start for Mickey there. The new left back, Destiny Onoji. I will get that pronunciation right eventually. Of course, you may remember we actually signed him last summer, but from Udinese, but then immediately sent him back on loan. So it's actually his first season with us. So sorted in like a glove, really. Confident to get forward. He was always looking to try and get down the left hand side. He looked promising. He had a bit about him. It looks very, very competent for that left back spot. And considering there's a lot more experienced players who are vying for that spot, he took it like it was his own. And he simply didn't look like a player who was playing his first ever Premier League game. He looked like he'd been there forever. So overall, a very good start, I thought. Then we move on to the goalkeeper, Vicario. I know there's been a lot of talk about him, not just yesterday actually, but all pre-season. There are people who seem to have question marks about him. I don't think it was as bad as people made him out to be yesterday. He did have some wobbly moments, particularly on. It seemed to take a bit too much time on the ball. The times where it'd be better just to clear it. He was trying to make good passes to get an attack going, but sometimes it's better to just clear the ball in certain situations. So decision making can be improved on, but that can obviously come with experience. I don't really think he was at fault. I mean, the penalty's the penalty, obviously. It's the second goal he wasn't at. You couldn't blame him for. It was just unlucky, the way the ball ended up bouncing over him when he'd already dived for it. And as I said, it clipped off Van der Veen and went over him. He did seem to feel too much like he needed to be involved, particularly when the ball was even if it got on our half of the pitch, he was immediately trying to rush out to clear it, He just needs to, pick and choose the moments when to do it and when not to do it. But, as I said, I think that will come with improvement and, over the course of the season. So, we'll see how he goes. Of course, over the summer edition, Manuel Solomon obviously, didn't get, the opportunity to show himself on the bench, but, he looked very encouraging all pre-season. I hope we get to see him throughout the course of the season, which I think we will. He looks a very, very, very lively attacking player, and someone who's not afraid to go for goals. So I think overall there's a lot to be encouraged by. Other noticeable things from yesterday, how good Davinson Sanchez slotted in when Romero went off with his head injury. He actually did look pretty competent there. He did get caught behind a couple of times, but he held his ground pretty well. Didn't do his normal dithering around on the ball too much. It looked like he sorted in. It looks like maybe And I noticed it a couple of times pre-season as well, you know. So maybe Ange can get a tune out of him and make him at least a good backup option for us to have. So, you know, we'll see how that goes. Emerson looked, you know, very, very decent too. I do think he got done a bit too easily for Brentford second. You know, he could have done better there. But going forward, he was excellent. The way he struck that second goal was so cleanly done, and how forward he was. It was like he was playing the centre midfield rather than right back a lot of the game. It was just, you know, it was good to see the players, you know, who looked absolute deers in the headlights last season at times, actually having confidence in themselves, you know. Sometimes that's all a player needs, you know, to get themselves going. As I mentioned it yesterday briefly, but I'll go into it more. The star of the show yesterday was Basuma. What a performance. I mean, he was everywhere on that pitch. He finally actually looked like, you know, the midfield, you know, powerhouse who won admirers, you know, all over the league at Brighton, who, you know, I in particular was so over the moon when we got him last summer. I thought he's going to be an absolute dream of a player, and just it never clicked for him, partly through tactics, partly through injuries as well. It just never seemed to fit into place for him last season. But, you know, if yesterday's anything to go by, he's going to be monstrous for us this season, you know, which is great to see. And do we need anybody else in? I suppose, and really to finish up, there's still a couple of weeks to go before the end of the transfer window, and, you know, with the improvements in the squad, which there have been, do we need any other new players? And if we do, who would be the position we need the most? I know people were saying another defender, but actually, I think maybe striker's the more important one to look at, because, you know, I think I mentioned yesterday, Richarlison is a super sub. When you've got 15-20 minutes to go, you need someone to cause some havoc and maybe get a goal or create a goal. I think that's maybe his role. To be the number 9 who you need to rely on every week, not so sure. I could be wrong, but at the moment I think it would be best for us to use these last period of the window to, you know, get a, obviously it's been possible to replace somebody of Harry Kane's calibre, but an out-and-out proven number 9, a proven goal scorer who can lead the line for us, you know, because really, you know, I think if, you know, with Maddison feeding them like, you know, like it was yesterday, I think that's a very exciting proposition. But anyway, that's my thoughts, you know, on, you know, yesterday, guys. You know, and maybe looking ahead to the future. You know, what do you guys think? What do you think's possible this season? Leave all your thoughts and stuff, guys, down in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, hello, don't forget, I'm always here every day. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell, that way you'll never miss a new video. It's great to be back uploading again, and long may it continue. Thank you for watching, guys. I've been Best for on. I will see you soon. And as always, come on, you Spurs.